you riffing, or is this part of the commercial?
I don't know. I didn't read the script.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 worst apologies from fast food companies.
KFC followed up by saying, yeah, oops.
For this list, we're looking at times when these grab-and-go food chains sorely missed the mark when trying to atone for blunders of their own doing. Have you ever boycotted a fast food restaurant? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Police issues. Starbucks. At a Starbucks in Tempe, Arizona, one customer complained that they felt unsafe with the police in the store. A barista then asked them to either move out of the customer's line of sight or leave. They went through with the latter.
It's not acceptable anywhere, any day, that asking someone based upon what they do.
The incident triggered massive backlash against the coffee company, including the trending hashtag #DumpStarbucks. The company subsequently apologized for the incident and, for the most part, attempted to downplay the whole matter.
Starbucks calling the Tempe incident completely unacceptable and say they are already taking the necessary steps to ensure this doesn't happen again in the future.
Number 19. Chili mishap. Wendy's. One of the most infamous restaurant scandals of all time involved a customer claiming she had found a severed finger in her Wendy's chili.
Certainly, there's a chance that this is a grotesque prank of some kind or industrial sabotage.
In the days that followed, the company offered up a reward for information about the incident, but do much in the way of apologizing or even taking responsibility, or announcing precautions to prevent it from possibly happening again. However, it was later discovered that the entire incident was a hoax in an attempt to extort money through a bogus lawsuit.
Customers applauded when they heard the news. Last night, police arrested Anna Ayala at her home in Las Vegas and put her into jail without bail for grand theft and attempted grand theft.
Number 18. Skip the chopsticks. Burger King. Originating from China, chopsticks have become a predominant eating utensil all throughout Asia. So when a New Zealand franchise of Burger King tried to use them in an advertisement for a new menu item, it was seen as culturally insensitive. Originally posted on Instagram, the moment corporate BK got wind of the nature of the advertisement, they issued a formal apology and indicated the video would be pulled immediately.
Sensitive and does not reflect our brand values regarding diversity and inclusion.
What makes this situation even more unfortunate is that it took a call from headquarters for those who planned it to see the insensitivity in such an ad. Number 17. English only. Tim Hortons. When you live in a country with mixed races and ethnicities, you're bound to encounter conversations in a language other than English. But apparently, for some management staff of Tim Hortons, English is the only language that matters. At a shop in Winnipeg, Manitoba, a sign posted for employees indicated English was the only language to be spoken in the workplace. When a customer took a photo of the sign and posted it to social media, the coffee company immediately responded with an apology and indicated the sign had been removed. That would have been fine, except for the fact that it's been reported that this is commonplace in other Tim Hortons shops. Corporate apologies seem pretty hollow when employees continue to make the same mistakes. Number 16. Bad in breakfast. Taco Bell. As far as bad apologies go, this one is both head-shaking and hilarious. After having turned their breakfast offerings into a selection of terrible puns and confusing combinations, Taco Bell realized people wanted to keep their mornings simple. Instead of just swapping the morning menu out with a new version, they instead employed comedian Pete Davidson to literally apologize for the franchise's exuberance on breakfast.
Go ahead, say sorry.
Huh?
Taco Bell went a bit crazy with its breakfast. It was too much.
Albeit comedic, it's perhaps a little overkill for something as simple as a menu change, but credit to Taco Bell for trying. The confusing menu items have since been discontinued. Number 15. No chicken. KFC.
No chicken? You mean I ain't gonna be able to get that bucket?
How can they be out of chicken?
As one of the world's most popular fast food chicken restaurants, you would assume that KFC always has plenty to go around.
There ain't no substitute for honest-to-goodness Kentucky Fried Chicken. I say, Kentucky Fried Chicken. We do chicken right.
But when KFC ran into delivery problems in Ireland and the UK in 2018, over 900 restaurants were closed temporarily.
Many of those that were open, like this one in Sheffield, were offering fewer options, and it seems it wasn't just chicken that was off the menu.
I just gone for coffee, and they said there is no milk.
Apparently, they switched from one courier company to another, and it resulted in massive delays across the region.
The problem that KFC is pointing to is that there was apparently a huge IT failure at the new distribution company that it uses to deliver those chickens. We don't know at this point just how much This is costing KFC.
The company then took out a full-page ad in the newspaper, switching up their signature acronym for a new one. KFC became FCK, as this chicken giant went full meta in their apology. May this be a lesson to any fast food chain to always have extra stock. Number 14, food poisoning, Chipotle.
Every year, there are hundreds of food poisoning outbreaks in the U.S., but it's unusual for one company to see 6 outbreaks from 3 different germs in just 6 months.
Some might call it a healthier option to your typical grab-and-go food. But in 2015, Chipotle was struck with a series of health-related scandals.
141 students at Boston College got sick, including an entire basketball team. In total, about 500 people became ill after eating at Chipotle in the second half of 2015.
A combination of norovirus infections, salmonella poisoning, and E. coli outbreaks struck over 500 people across multiple U.S. states. This, of course, severely hurt the company's reputation.
But the company that prides itself on serving food with integrity is struggling to regain consumer trust.
In an effort to control the damage, the company issued a full-page apology letter in newspapers like the New York Times. Co-CEO Steve Ells insisted they would take steps to improve food safety.
But the silver lining comment is that it has caused us to put in place practices that our epidemiologist expert, Dr. Samanpour, says will put us 10 to 15 years ahead of industry norms. And I believe this will be the safest restaurant to eat at.
Given that the chain was sued again in 2020 for similar reasons, it's up to you to decide if their new measures were enough. Number 13, not a foot long, Subway. We don't know about you, but when we hear foot long, we think 12 inches long. Apparently, so did Matt Corby of Australia when his viral photo of a foot-long sub showed it to be less than 12 inches long. News of the discrepancy swept across the web, and soon enough, Subway was scrambling to respond. The company issued an apology, indicating that the foot-long was meant as a name of the sub and not to be taken as its length.
That explanation is a little tough to swallow.
A class action lawsuit was filed, but the settlement was eventually thrown out by the courts for being, quote, utterly worthless.
People may say this case is only about 1 inch and that it may be frivolous, but companies should deliver what they promise.
Number 12, horse meat, Burger King.
We do it like you do it when we do it like we do it at Burger King.
Did you know that in some parts of Europe and Asia, horse meat is a relatively common and popular meat? Be that as it may, it remains a divisive choice of protein in many countries. And back in 2013, Burger King got caught in a controversy around horse meat being used as filler in some of their all-beef patties in Europe.
The horse meat controversy began last month. Horse DNA was found in burgers stocked by some supermarket chains, including Tesco, Iceland and Lidl. Today, the beef saga has spread, affecting firms in the UK, Irish Republic, Poland and France.
This was traced back to the meat processing facility used by the burger chain.
Burger King went on to say that due to the runaway coverage of this story, they are switching to a different supplier for its British and Irish restaurants, purely as a voluntary and precautionary measure.
They quickly issued a public response denying the allegations and switched suppliers just to be safe. However, it didn't help when they came back and admitted that trace amounts of horse DNA had been found in the burgers with their previous supplier. Number 11, no Pepsi, Arby's. Walk into any fast food restaurant and you will likely be able to either order Coke or Pepsi. Most brands partner with one or the other, agreeing to exclusively sell their variety of beverages. For Arby's, their relationship with Pepsi extended to including the beverage in at least 2 advertisements per year. When they failed to keep up their end of the bargain, Pepsi made sure to call them out. In response, the roast beef chain went out of their way to film an entire commercial exclusively dedicated to the beverage.
Arby's has an agreement to feature their good friend Pepsi in 2 commercials a year. Well, Arby's messed up and forgot about the second commercial. So here it is. Pepsi.
Although it seems cute on the surface, the voiceover in the ad is dripping with sarcasm, making us wonder what the true intention of it was. Number 10, racially insensitive nugget tweets, Chick-fil-A. Back in September of 2022, a Twitter user commented about the return of a spicy chicken sandwich. When Chick-fil-A replied, it used the word community in a way some took to be racially insensitive. The company responded by clarifying their intent, but by then, the outrage had already spread. To add insult to injury, it wasn't the first time they've had to apologize for inappropriate behavior. A North Carolina woman also claimed to have been the victim of racism when her name was written as a slur on her receipt.
She posted about the incident on Facebook, and that picture went viral. While she says the store's general manager apologized to her, she says she wants whoever did this to face consequences.
If we've ever needed a reminder of the importance of using the right choice of words, this is it. Number 9, wrong cups, Dunkin' Donuts.
For Patriots fans, it was a painful reminder of their team's defeat by the Eagles in this year's Super Bowl.
Honestly, this one's just plain funny. When it comes to football, there is a pretty passionate rivalry between the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles. In 2018, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and Dunkin' Donuts put out a series of championship cups featuring the team's logo. However, due to a minor snafu, these cups were being served to customers in the New England area by accident. This, of course, infuriated Patriots fans who were already upset by their team's loss.
Dunkin' Donuts apologized today, saying the wrong boxes were shipped to the stores. Couldn't they have just said, no, we're not going to use them, and just broke out the regular old cups?
The company apologized for the mix-up, but given how passionate football fans can be, it definitely took some time for it to blow over.
The cup confusion sparked outrage online. Dunkin' says they are taking steps to ensure stores are stocked with the correct cups.
Number 8, wrong custard, Sonic Drive-In. Odds are pretty good that someone at Sonic Drive-In slept through their American history class.
Are you like a riverboat captain?
I am General George Custard, and you should address me with respect.
In 2017, the burger chain ran an advertisement that showed General George Custer, or rather Custard, eating Sonic's dessert treat. The play on words was meant to be funny, but it came across as incredibly insensitive to indigenous peoples.
This is ridiculous.
This is custard.
While Custer was seen as heroic for his role in the American frontier wars in the 19th century, history remembers him differently. Immediately after airing the ad, Sonic received an onslaught of negative feedback and complaints. They pulled it shortly thereafter and issued a formal apology. Number 7, cleaning fluid, McDonald's.
Down the road, and after one sip, she knew something was not right.
The Golden Arches has made its fair share of mistakes that they've had to apologize for over the years. But in this 2018 case, a minor mix-up could have had far more serious consequences. When pregnant Alberta woman Sarah Douglas ordered a latte from the drive-thru, her morning drink had an extra special ingredient, cleaning fluid.
I had no idea of what I was drinking. I just knew it wasn't coffee and it tasted like chemical.
Apparently, the cleanser had been connected to the machine while being cleaned, but someone had failed to reconnect the milk line before serving her drink. McDonald's quickly apologized and ensured new safety measures would be taken.
A spokesperson released a statement on behalf of the McDonald's franchise owner, Dan Brown, saying the machine is routinely cleaned every morning, but noted, quote, unfortunately, the milk supply line was connected to the cleaning solution while the guest's drink was made.
Thankfully, Sarah and her unborn baby were unharmed. Number 6, massive E. coli outbreak, Jack in the Box. In the early 90s, burger chain Jack in the Box experienced one of the worst outbreaks of the bacteria in the food industry. When the news broke, instead of apologizing, they chose to deflect, claiming in no way could they have been responsible.
All the news about Jack in the Box has caused us to lose sight of how easy the disease is transmitted from person to person.
That all fell apart when it was discovered that it was in fact their meat that was the source of the outbreak, and that the parent company Foodmaker Incorporated ignored concerns about the way the restaurant's burgers were being prepared.
Jack in the Box announced it had raised its cooking temperatures, and it stopped selling hamburgers while it recalled all the suspect meat in its Washington restaurants. But the epidemic was far from over. Because it could take days for symptoms of the illness to show up, children continued to pour into the hospital, while information dribbled out.
Although the company has since prioritized food safety and put in place procedures to ensure their meat is properly cooked, they never formally apologized or took responsibility for their part in the outbreak. Number 5, wrong letters, Krispy Kreme donuts. sometimes you can't help but wonder what people were thinking.
What were they thinking?
Such was the case with this 2017 marketing initiative from one Krispy Kreme donut store in the UK. In an attempt to drive customers to their location, they promoted a new event where patrons could come in and decorate their donuts. They referred to it as the Krispy Kreme Club. Spelling club with a K, they combined the three words into an acronym. After being posted to Facebook, the three Ks together instantly brought the wrong kind of attention to the store.
So people saw it online and went, that looks a little weird. Because apparently there are people in England who have heard of the KKK.
Yes, there are.
Just not the people who are running Krispy Kreme.
The company immediately apologized and insisted it was not a company-wide promotion.
Krispy Kreme has apologized for the mistake, saying it was unintentional.
Still, it struck all the wrong chords with fans of the donut chain. Number 4. Jared Fogles' arrest. Subway. During its heyday, the Subway ad campaign around Jared Fogles' weight loss seemed like a perfect story to sell the sandwiches. It was an inspirational tale that helped propel him into the spotlight, while easily upping the sales of Subway sandwiches.
This is real chicken, with fresh veggies and freshly baked bread. It tastes awesome, too. Now that's how chicken should be.
However, Fogles' relationship with the sub-chain ended in 2015 when he was arrested for possession of questionable adult materials. Although Subway terminated their relationship, they admitted they had received a serious complaint a few years prior, but thought nothing of it. Given the severity of Fogles' crimes, it's disheartening to know the food chain had suspicions previously but didn't take them as seriously as they should have. Number 3. Belong in the kitchen. Burger King.
Hey, you get your ass back in the kitchen and make me some pie.
They might be able to say that on South Park, but certainly not in the real world. It's a lesson Burger King learned in 2021 when they tried, and failed miserably, to promote International Women's Day. In a tweet from the UK arm of Burger King, they wrote, "Women belong in the kitchen." The longer thread of tweets showed how only 20% of chefs were women, and that Burger King UK was trying to promote equality.
Other Twitter users, however, say the company could have expressed their support for women in their first tweet without using sexist or stereotypical statements, especially on International Women's Day.
This, of course, backfired in the worst possible way, causing BK to apologize and try to explain their original intent.
In a written statement, Burger King said, "Our tweet in the UK today was designed to draw attention to the fact that only a small percentage of chefs and head chefs are women. It was our mistake to not include the full explanation in our initial tweet."
However, no amount of apologizing was ever going to make up for such a tone-deaf attempt. Number 2. Commemorating Kristallnacht. KFC. On November 9, 1938, a series of violent attacks began against many Jewish businesses and homes. Windows were smashed and materials were stolen by Nazis. Known as the Night of Broken Glass or Kristallnacht, the day is often seen as the beginning of the Holocaust during the Second World War. So when KFC's mobile app sent out a push notification to Germans encouraging them to buy KFC products to celebrate Kristallnacht, massive outrage followed.
Well, needless to say, Kristallnacht is not an appropriate place to be pushing fast food. Moreover, you don't treat yourself on a Nazi memory day.
KFC blamed the mishap on an automated system that sends messages based on a calendar that contained notable dates for Germany. Although they apologized for the incident, it was of little comfort to those who were affected by the historical tragedy.
The company said the notification was a, quote, unplanned, insensitive, and unacceptable message, and for this, we sincerely apologize.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Unexplainable justification. Papa John's. For a long time, John Schnatter was the face of the Papa John's Pizza Company. He did, after all, form the pizza chain and help launch it to become the success it's known as today.
And so one of our fundamental beliefs from the get-go was we were going to be a family-run, independent pizzeria, no matter how big we got.
None of that helped him, however, when he had to step down as CEO in 2018. After blaming the NFL's national anthem protests for a dip in sales, he then showed questionable remorse when apologizing for his use of the N-word.
It wasn't a slur. It was a session on strategy and media planning and training. And I repeated something that somebody else said, and said we're not going to say that.
Instead of truly owning up, he tried to justify it and blamed the board for, quote, using the black community and race as a way to steal the company. Shaquille O'Neal joined the board of directors and replaced Schnatter as spokesperson for the company.
Hello, I'm the new guy.
Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.